When you hear the sound of the bell, you know immediately you are in the championship rounds. We ain't doing no filling out. I'm in here with my co-host. Let him introduce himself. Let him know where to find you, champ.
It's Bodywork Boxing, and it's if you want to email me, it's bodyworkboxing247 at Gmail. On the Instagram, it's Mr. underscore Bodywork Boxing, and of course on YouTube, Bodywork Boxing.
All right.
What's happening, champ? What's happening?
Hey, listen, a little bit of everything, man. Let's do a quick recap of what happened this weekend. The main event broke 2 million views on Sky Sports alone. I'm talking about Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. What do you think of those numbers, man?
That's amazing. I mean, the world is just now getting on to what we already knew. You know what I'm saying? We got slightly ahead of the curve, start pushing that thing, and now the world is showing that hey, there's something to watch, man. So that's a wonderful thing, man. I'm happy for all of the women that participated, everybody that was involved, man. That was excellent.
Definitely a great market for this aspect of the sport. Um, what do you think is next for the GOAT, Clarissa Shields?
I think I think she can go ahead and get her ginger on. You know, she can sprinkle and she can pick, choose, and refuse. She kind of made it that way to where that was the standard that was set. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So I'm thinking, man, she can either just go for the bag. She can spread the wealth and try to give some of these heavy hitters opportunities. But really it's hey, whatever she want at this point, what I'm saying, she earned that right. I think she need to breathe, check the landscape, and then we just gotta wait and see what she decide.
Well, that's interesting because we know she's got the MMA obligation, but when we talk about, of course, this is going to be for Women's Boxing Wednesday, there may be an interesting potential fight with your pick for Women's Boxing Wednesday. I don't know if you're aware of that. So we got some work to do, champ. Now, as far as Savannah Marshall goes, I don't know if you saw, I definitely reposted and shout out to Franson Crews-Dezurn. Fuck that hair, first of all, number one. Then number two, um, yo, she was ringside at that fight, that main event,
Right.
and walked
Yeah, I
over
saw
to
that.
the apron and said, "Hey, I'll give you a shot at 168." What do you think about that fight?
I like it. I like it. I mean, I think that it might be a tall order, but I like the fact that she was on there. There's no ambiguity, if you will, about whether or not she wanted, because she was on the big bright lights. I think that was good promotional wise because it was marketing. She got to see herself. It caused me to go on the gram and see, okay, well, what she got going on. I see how she markets and everything. So, it's the best wanting to fight the best. The best actually coming to see the smoke. Like, a lot of times people get clowned for being in fights. Like, why they there? Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes a fighter go to like their nemesis or their ops, and they're like, well, why did he even go? And it's almost like she out there like, what's up? I'll be your huckleberry. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to come see about you. Can I get next? You know what I'm saying?
It's going out to the yard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit. You know what I mean? Act like I can't live. I'm going out to the yard. You know what I mean? I'm gonna find me a space to be and show that I'm not afraid to live amongst the environment, amongst the wolves. And so going ringside like that, again, sometimes the men don't do it as much as we like to see it. I think that the way the women's game is, I still could see, and I love that fight, first of all. And I wouldn't be mad if Marshall took something in the interim, got her feet up under her, or if they got straight to it. It'd be a damn shame if women did that to men's boxing, bro.
Man, that hey, they gotta set the standard. You know what I'm saying? Hey, who were our first teachers? You know what I'm saying? Who was our first everything? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Hey, they people don't look at it like that, but your first pretty much everybody is hey, the women were the first to show you everything. They're the first to feed you, first to wipe your tail. Why not show you how to go ahead and throw them things? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get it on. Like, they might light a spark. You seen Earl said this was the most lit he had been about it going into it. And that kind of like people like, oh, Earl, you know what I'm saying? He interested. That's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? When it's men out here, he like that's the littest he's been.
yeah.
There's a lot.
And you know, as far as the rest of that card, the co-main event, which I think it definitely stole the excitement as far as the two. I mean, what Clarissa didn't take and not to take away from it all, it was the crowning achievement in women's boxing. But just for the competitive nature and the spicy element, shout out to Queen Micah K. That Baumgardner Mayer. What did you think of the decision, first of all?
For one, I was asking what fight were they watching. I'm like, I don't really know. I had it like 3-3-4. I had it like that. I had it. It was an ebb and flow. It was where AB got off. You know what I'm saying? She was getting her off for the first three, and then Mayer came back and she was doing her thing in the next 3 rounds, and then it was like Tony Harrison was like, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? Wake up, kid. You know what I'm saying? Get it, come out of the corner. You know, make the adjustments. You know, Tony getting his. I love seeing that and hearing his passion that rubbed off. When she came back, she got on them angles. She did all that, but I was looking at the numbers, and the numbers actually told the story because in total punches, AB outlanded her
Yeah.
34-28. They were even on the jab at 26%. But in power punches, Mayer outlanded her 40-32. And you know what that told me? Hey, it might be a little bit of TNT in them gloves because when you're not, look at it, she outlanded her by about 6% in total punches, but she got outlanded in power punches. That means them things was actually coming in, you know what I'm saying, hot. You know what I'm saying?
And you pointed that out so brilliant because it was the overhand right on the counter. Because once Mayer got the jab popping, she couldn't leave without catching an overhand right, or sometimes, the overhand right and then a left to the body. Yep. And then Baumgardner slide up out of there.
Yep.
And then challenge her. They may meet with the jab, or Mayer may get hers off because she was taller, or Mayer may miss. Baumgardner hit back at it with her jab, and then across, and then get to the body, move on it. Yep. It was amazing to see. So when I ask about, the surprise, was surprised at the split decision. I thought it should have been unanimous, but for some reason, maybe they wanted to add the spice of a split.
I think they was because the whole time I said, man, I was like, man, I don't know what is the confusion? What are we watching? All I heard was like I heard Twilight Zone, So I mean, I'm glad that at the end it was done right. Like we gotta speak to the sportsmanship because we put everybody on the level. Leading up when you had Al Mitchell and how he had got me fired up about it, but I didn't kind of like the sportsmanship now, like on that thing with Mayer. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing that I took away, how she was just going away and dismissive. But overall, it was good. I really, really enjoyed that fight.
Yeah.
I really did. It was a treat.
So we brilliant minds think so much alike because we're gonna land in an interesting place, man. As far as what's next for Baumgardner, I know she said she's not going to give Mayer a rematch. First of all, do you respect that? Do you understand that, or do you have something against that?
I think the way that she explained it, and I love how articulate she is. She gets straight to the point. She said, "Look, if it was any kind of controversy, then Boxer could have said, yeah, hey, what's up?' But it was unanimous. So you know what I'm saying? I'm before, remember leading up to it, it was you ain't beat nobody. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It was all that, oh, you okay, I'm gonna be your okay. So I checked that block, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to go do, go play for a little while. Let me have my little, you know what I'm saying, give me some breathing room and let me, you know what I'm saying, figure this thing out. So I think she's entitled because that was a big, I think she need to breathe, let it set in. Don't have no knee jerk. Don't feel like you got to go because it's there. The stage is set. All you got to do is go recuperate, work on, she do excellent. I've seen her in commercials and everything. She's going to be, I'm going to say she's right on the cusp of that start. She's getting ready to break, you know what I'm saying? And she just need to just stay in the moment, stay focused, you know what I'm saying, relax, and then really order these steps because she's moving like now from this point forward with that victory. She kind of got some leverage, some good leverage, and she can kind of call the shots now, kind of, you know what I'm saying?
And not only does she call the shots, not only is she very photogenic, not only is she articulate, she's quietly been building her shit over in the UK. So yes. You got Terry Harper in the UK. This fight of this magnitude against a fighter like Mayer in the UK, She may take an interim fight in the UK against one of the tough Argentine females that they got over there. And I'm gonna get to because I know who she got coming up next, and I do respect the decision, by the way. Um, as far as Mayer, I
Mm-hmm.
think she plans on moving up. She hasn't said it yet, but I think part of the excuse or part of the reason is going to be, yeah, you know what? I've been fighting at 130 for so long. Yeah, it's time for me to move up, and I can understand that. But what do you think is next for Mayer? Because I think, again, like I made the point with women boxing, we don't throw away a fight over one loss. We saw, you know what I mean? But as far as maybe potential opponents or even moving up, what do you think about Mayer and what's next?
I mean, I'm not a knee-jerk reactionist, so I would say, look, I would be petitioning for her because that was for the big marbles. I mean, I know she was on the losing end of the stick, but I'll be trying to get my get back. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to my old head, and one of the things that he admired most about Floyd was if there ever or were there ever any kind of controversy, even though that wasn't controversial, he said that Floyd would go and fight right back. I would see what the demand is on the market for it, but I would be applying to if you really want your get back, I would kind of see what the champ is, which way she going. But if you want your get back, stay right there and go out and make a devastating statement on the next opponent, whoever it is. Grab you somebody, you know what I'm saying, with a name, and take them back behind the woodshed, you know what I'm saying, and give them some wall-to-wall counseling, and then try to get that get back. I would because could she make adjustments? She had some success in them 3 rounds, and had those adjustments not been made, you know, it could have been a different fight. So, I don't know. I don't know what the tea leaves are though. I got so much that I'm looking at. I don't know what the tea leaves are.
Honestly, I think, maybe if she don't want to hang around in division and be bothered with the controversy, to your point, your old head was right, because in a scenario using Floyd, Maidana was that fight to where if it seemed like controversy, I'm gonna run it right back,
Mm.
right? So I see the principle of run it right back. But I think she could also walk away and be like, I ain't lose nothing. I got nothing to lose. She's a young pioneer in this game. She kind of like a little J. Cole, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like if, with this loss, it does nothing to detract from her. She might want to stay in the UK and begin to campaign at 135 even. Maybe look for a bout against Chantel Cameron. Maybe look for a bout against Mary McGee if it's available, because she fought Chantel Cameron. That fight could be on Top Rank in a stateside. You know what I'm saying? Top Rank, holla at me, cash at me. If it's too big, PayPal me. You know what I mean, those are things that she can do. Um,
I wouldn't mind a Mary McGee though. Seeing the just,
yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that one. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
So, what do you think of this Plant stoppage over Durrell? I mean, a lot of people was leaning towards Plant with the victory, but the stoppage and in a vicious manner. Were you anticipating anything like that? Were you surprised by it? Tell me your thoughts.
I I I didn't say that it was impossible. I didn't say that it was impossible. I was just really wanting to see if Caleb really learned from the Ginger experience. You know, um, because I think that going in, man, when I go back and I really look at it, I said, it was almost like Darrell was cruising for a bruising, but he was the one that was pretty much known as the power. That if it was going to be like a lights out knockout like that, people were saying that. They were saying that, okay, maybe Caleb might, flash knock down him or something somewhere, or he was just going to pepper him up all fight and just embarrass him and move him around, right? But the way I see it is with Uzkataki, his biggest problem going up against Caleb was that he underestimated him. Like that, I don't know how people really think like with the level of skill you have that you can go in there. And I think that Darrell took Caleb Plant for granted. Like both of them guys, in the way he did Uzkataki, knocking him down that many times, and how he did it, he actually showed. That's what I be saying. Like sometimes it's not that they don't have power, it's that they're not either in position or they don't take the risk to do it.
Yeah.
Them guys were just like, oh, okay, you ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? They felt, and Uzkataki was looking up. The uh the dog, he just didn't respect Caleb. And I think that you can't, man, that at that weight division, with a guy that's that quick, you know, I thought that going in, I didn't see it going like that, but I thought that it was really more so his undermining of somebody's ability. And in the art of war, you never underestimate your opponent. I think that it was more of that. What I could take away from it, I don't know, because I don't know where the world really was. You know, I mean, he beat that other guy. You know what I'm saying? That guy, that he put a highlight reel, but it was like, could he still get that off on somebody in their prime? You know what I'm saying? And Caleb was able to see that liability of not getting that arm back up. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that at that time, at that stage, that should be automatic, you know. But what was your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, so I didn't expect the KO, not at all. I don't have any issue with the Undertaker business with the dirt throwing the
Oh,
dirt. I had no issue with that at all. But I am disappointed that Plant won because you brought him up, and I've always brought him up, not even just to show my prowess for enunciating pronunciations or even my knowledge of the 168 division, but for a name who's got to be a name that at 168 you kind of got to fight him, but there's no reason, because I thought for shit sure that if Darrell won, not that I picked him or whatever, I'm just saying if Darrell won, I felt like he would have been looking for Benavidez. But now I feel like with Plant winning, we get to play a little bit more of that A-side slut game. You know what I'm saying? Now I get to look for Uzgatagi instead of us getting Plant and Benavidez. That's my only issue with what happened.
man, we on the same wavelength. We didn't even really discuss that. Like I didn't even know you was thinking like that. But for one, you know, I gotta bring this up. Uzgatagi got popped hot, right? So for me, that kind of says you will be really at the mercy of us giving you a payday. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, yeah, you a name, you got some punching power, you got this and this and that, but like there's some hungry dogs down there that would love a shot. And I'm so glad you said it first, because I've been on to this Benavidez, you know what I'm saying? And this man is finding a way to fight Uzgatagi at this point in time. It's like, no, I mean, unless it was already, because so I do say that, okay, plan wise, always know, from what I know, that there's always a plan for these guys. That's the only thing I can probably say if I was just reaching, extrapolating, because I don't know nobody behind no scenes. I will say, because I saw Senior on TBV, and he was saying that they kind of had talked about like a little three joint, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking maybe there was a name that was just slated right there, but I'm like, come on now. After that, now it's like, can we go back to the drawing board? Did somebody sign it? Was it signed in blood, or did we pencil that in? You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I want to get it popping now, because now it's real kind of convenient that it's Ugatagi, man. Like I thought.
And look, I don't want to take you further away from your point, but this is how fucked up I think PBC is. PBC will take Benavidez in a further direction away from Plant after Uzgatagi, and try to give him one of the European guys. And I had mentioned, you know, a Ryder, a Calum Smith, what's the other guy? I can't even remember. You know what I'm saying? But this is how I fit, and maybe I'm being negative on PBC because we have to do that show where we break down these guys. But I'm hoping, and I hope I step on your point, but I just hate that if this fight was going to happen, which to me it could have been a great fight, Plant and Benavidez after Canelo. Because Benavidez had a fight that he had to get out the way, right? And then right then and there. Okay, fine. We get Plant and Darrell because Darrell's a common opponent, right? We're gonna do another triangulate, right? But I feel like if they're giving us this, then they may never give us what we actually want.
But okay, so let me ask you this then. Let's just make it all make sense then, because for one, my question was with some of them European guys, I'm trying to think, okay, well, how is them fights going to be made? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. But this aside from that, let's just throw that out. Canelo's not on PBC. And as far as the heavy hitter, the one that's moving all the way, okay, you got Plant who lost to Ginger, right? But everybody else is chirping Benavidez. You are the guy. Like, so Canelo removed.
Yep. Okay.
Who's big dog? So if you big dog, why is it now you got to go over here and over there? You the big dog. I mean, you got a brand. I mean, the same way they say Tank need to reach down and you know what I'm saying, see if they still down there and say, hey, that's what Benavidez. I mean,
yeah,
it's not now. No, we're not gonna go all around the Marbury bush now because you've been the El Bandado Roja. You've been the big monster now. Like, no, you don't. It's not now if this guy or this guy, because it's convenient that Andre popping up on the scene, and now you like, where's Uzukatagi? You do that
yeah.
kind of make any sense?
I hate to be a pessimist, but that's a great point. You know what I'm saying? Because Benavidez. So in saying that, I'm gonna lean more towards where you put in that and say let's assume that Benavidez is the guy and Canelo's out the picture, but Benavidez better take care of who's got the gi, and then him and Plant got to be. That's where I'm gonna leave it, right?
That gotta happen. But I'm thinking, listen, I just seen something. I got something I'm putting out right now. I just didn't get to do it. Well, Andre is it's Mr. Me again. I'm outside. He's saying I want all the smoke now. Like, we know Eddie and all that's it's supposed to be done. He's saying I'm outside. I want to play, and now, oh, let me go find Uzukatagi. You know, and Plant just got rid of Durrell. It's like it looked like, man, it looked like that division could really, because it was almost like that division is in some aspects behind Canelo is like an afterthought. It's kind of like, well, I don't know, because you got all these different moving pieces. You know what I'm saying? But it's like now, it's like everybody want to come down with the measuring sticks. You know, up against these guys that, yeah, okay, they not on top, but they decent. But like, man, come on, man. All these people just being wallflowers.
Look, and before we move on to our next point, another monkey wrench in the game. And matter of fact, no, let's mix it in there because David Morrell, I just thought of him. David Morrell is another monkey wrench. It could do Benavidez and David Morrell, give him a bullshit WBA title, and we never see Caleb Plant unless they give Caleb Plant Morrell. But I feel like Morrell could be a separator or divider between us actually getting. And this again, yo, somebody tell me I'm full of shit, right? But I know who else is full of shit because I want to mix this in there. Triple G, because he's going back down to 160. Another guy that don't want no fucking parts of Andrade, and now he fighting in the fucking eliminator against somebody because he waiting on Lara.
Who is he gonna fight? Oh, and Laura will retire. Laura will. He is going to. He is going. He would retire. Silent G, because how you you Silent G when it comes to certain people, but I mean you got your thing with Canelo, and I got some perspective on that too, as far as okay, well, taking up and occupying the cash cow. Okay, Eureka, you pulled the hat trick. You occupied the cash cow for 3 of them things. You got your bread. The zone paid you all that crazy money. Now, and you was the bad man who could just mess up everybody. But right now, he don't really want no real smoke. I mean, they playing musical chair. Hey, Andre say I'm coming up. You know what I'm saying? And then Silent G, he go up and then he prairie dogging it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, what's going on?
You gave me a new idea for a name from him. Gennady Golovkin, aka Lasagna, aka Silent G.
Yeah. I'm like, I just, I'm like, man, stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing. It's the landscape is right, man. It's some good fights that could be made in all seriousness, and I just hope these guys listen to you. Look at these women, man. These women going to take your money. Now they about to start taking your purse. Well, know what I'm saying?
I said this is no feel outs. We gonna throw away some of the script. I'm like Teofimo. I ain't listening to my pops, right? I'm listening, but I'm not listening. We throwing out the heavyweight shit because I want to talk about the landscape 130 from a guy. And I respect the family. I respect the Russells. But Mr. Gary is the one I have the most issue with. And let me lay the groundwork in saying this. We know that him and Chris Colbert, there was some speculation of a fight. or at least, when Chris Cole, I'm not saying like I'm, whatever, but I put it out there. I know I was one of the first, even before punk ass Mike Coppinger. I said coming off the loss, um, um, uh, uh, Gary Russell post surgery and Chris Colbert, they're both at PBC. Gary Russell ain't got no business still fighting at 126. My son, that's not even 15 years old, don't weigh 126. It's ridiculous for Gary Russell to still be like the Fonz with his leather jacket hanging out at the high school because he can make 126. I'm tired of him doing that shit. I want to see him move up to 130 and fight Chris Colbert. I also don't like the way, whenever that fight is on the table, Gary took it, and I ain't trying to be square toe about it, but keep it in the ring. The man is challenging you in the ring. Gary took it to, I slap the shit out you and doing all of that. Don't take the high road. You ain't got to do all that. So what do you think about Chris Colbert, Gary Russell? Am I on to something or am I off the mark?
Look, if Mr. Gary, he kind of get a reprieve from me, the longest reigning champ at 6 years, 352 days. He was one of the most duck fighters in boxing. He said a little bit of everybody. I don't know how he became the inactive one. I think he actually won that fight. When that last fight he had.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I mean, I think he won that fight. I don't say robbery. I don't say robbery. I say pickpocket. That's a pickpocket. They pickpocket that man belt off of him. You know what I'm saying? But with the shoulder injury and all that, okay, he get a reprieve because some people get reprieve when they get, have an injury and they facing some things. Boxing wise, I don't think they're on the same level. Yes, I want that fight. I want it, but these are the two things. You know what I'm saying? I'll give right back. These are the two things. One, Colbert had business with Frank Martin, I thought. It seemed like the more flame that was getting lit up under that, the more Colbert was looking to go see Garcia and all that. And I was all for Colbert after he got boycotted about comments he was saying about somebody, and I was the only one kind of riding and saying, hey man, like, look, you got to respect these boxers for their opinion. They actually get hit in the head for a living. I was rocking with him. I was rocking with him, and I was rocking with these New York cities, you know what I'm saying? But I had to do a video, and that man let Hector Garcia take his cornbread, man. Hector Garcia said, hey, you gonna eat your cornbread? And and Colbert was like, here you go. So I don't respect him quitting, because in that last fight he quit, and I think some people saw that. Now we got to give Colbert, I guess we give him a bounce back. We say, okay, you young, you might have took this guy as, because he was a replacement killer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I give him that. But if Gary need to make a statement as to whether he's going to be back in. Like, if you're going to be a coach, be the coach, because they was already knocking you for inactivity. But I would take that fight in a heartbeat, because it need to go down.
And I think Russell has the advantage. I just
absolutely.
I just feel like you said, the thing that bothers me most is the inactivity. Again, is you ain't in school. Educate these people, because people might not understand that fight against Loma was as much as an aberration as Loma's fight against Orlando Solido.
Right.
You lose to a fighter of that caliber. We clearly see what Loma has gone on to do, right?
Right.
So it's recognizing a guy that talented, and he got history, man. He is a well-known, to be a technician, but
right.
I just think it's unreasonable to have campaigned at 126 and not have challenged yourself or other fighters at 130, with the marketability and the skill set that you have. So, Chris Colbert is not on the level. I totally agree. But the fight's got to happen, because they're in the same trajectory. They're at that same crossroads in their career where we can kind of take the pressure off of them, because the loss to McCaskill wasn't really a loss. So now it's like, yo, maybe fighting at that weight, you might have been so comfortable. Let us see you show some more greatness outside of your comfort zone. So I got to put a little pressure on him, just a little bit, man. I got to see him for that.
Yeah, I get that. Let me close with this on Mr. Gary though.
Sure.
If I got just one little second.
Sure.
When it comes to Gary, right? you gotta look at, man. He was calling for a lot of smoke. You know, the run-ins that he had with Devin. I think that took a little bit on in the social media where everybody took it and ran it and echoed it, and it didn't help that he was only fighting once a year. You know the man has a supreme level of skill, but he went through time where his father was sick. He lost his father. He lost a brother. You know, that family went through a whole lot, and I don't think that Father Russell ever really got the proper, due. And for some reason, man, you know how they say where smoke is fire. You would have to think that it was some legs on that thing with him and because if Floyd part of PBC and PBC is this and this, it had to be some kind because he won the Leo, he didn't get Leo. Tank got Leo. He calling out Tank, he don't get Tank. You know what I'm saying? Now that was popcorn. I mean, you talking about I go back and forth sometimes twice in a day. Sometimes I'm right there by MGM Grand. I'm right there. Then I'm right here. I can damn near run to the Raven Stadium. So I'm back and forth. That's right there. Now that fight might not have been able to take place over here or in New York. Probably would have had to go out in Cali or down in Atlanta, like maybe somewhere like that. But when you look at all the people that Gary wanted at that time, he wasn't getting them. I think at some point he was like, man, look, they have a level of esteem and they feel a certain way about themselves. So it's almost like, look, it's stubbornness, but it's stubbornness on principle. And I think that there had to be some kind of legs between why he wasn't getting those fights. And I think with all that other stuff that happened, it kind of like got marred. Now, as a fan, I'm saying, look, Gary, commit to either you coming back or you not. You know what I'm saying? That way people know because Cobra could be using you to get the heat off of Martin, who was a real viable thing when Earl's saying, hey, come get him. Or Garcia, but Garcia's like, hey, go prove yourself again and I'll get back with you. So I just wanted to say that and put that out on there. Just something for fans to think about, in the grand scheme of things. Because we look at the big picture.
Sure, definitely. And people, if you don't know, go do your history on Gary Russell, and maybe that fight will come to fruition. Speaking of, as always, Women's Boxing Wednesdays. Now, we took a long road here. We both brought up fighters that could be in the potential future for the winner of the co-main event and the main event. So let's start with my pick. And I don't want to ruin her name because she's Asian, but I'm pretty good. Is Hyun Choi. I think they call her Erica. She is like, remind me of them cruiserweight fighters, that take the belt and they hold it in Germany like a Marco Huck. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or like a Jürger Braggerman, you know what I'm saying? Guy to take she's had the title for like the last, God knows, like 14 years or some shit, since 2008. She fights barely once a year. And she's held that belt hostage. Nobody's been able to get it for her. And that's who Alicia Baumgardner wants next. And that's why I respect her decision, because if she's able to get that fight, again, maybe having built the European audience since maybe a Korean fighter is not going to get, billed as even a B-side to an A-side fighter in the United States. I think it's an appropriate pick. Like I said, I can't really say much about her skill set because the footage, she's fought a lot of Korean fighters, a lot of fighters off air. And it's kind of like you want to see her meet her maker because you got to let that belt get vanquished so that Thanos, can happen. But I don't want to eat up the rest of the time. And I want you to tell, and I don't think you knew that your fighter was mentioned in the potential bout against Clarissa Shields at 147, because Clarissa says she wouldn't mind making 147. But go ahead and tell us your fighter.
I like that idea. Jessica McCaskill, Caskilla, the do or die shy. You know what I'm saying? I call her the Mantis because she got a stance, man. She was the first one I really laid eyes on. I said, man, she swing and fight like a dude. Like when I first saw her, the way that power and how she, man, like her everything. I was just so impressed. And she'll beat you up. Like she would just straight mollywop you. Like she would go upside your head. So she kind of excited me. But when I looked at one of the things I was looking at when I was judging about the two Jessicas last week was age don't bother these women. I got to looking at the ages and all that. I'm like, man, shoot, I only got her by about 4 of them things. I only been around, you know what I'm saying? I was almost in kindergarten when she came, but they don't, these women, that's what I respect about them. At that age, you know what I'm saying? In their ages, they're still competitive, they still in dog shape. Because then, you know what I'm saying? I guess if it was a boxing years for women versus a boxing years for men, you know, she made me look at that and I'm like, man, she's very skilled. I think her partner is her trainer. So they actually show an example that, you know, people can do business together, they can
Yeah.
thrive together, they support, and I see them, you know, using each other's synergy. He got to show that he can wear those different hats. I think it's a good example to look at her, man. And if you haven't seen her, check her out because she's thrilling to watch. And I like the fact that she's about to. I heard she's about to go see Chantel Cameron
Yeah, man, that would be an
dropping
amazing.
down
Oh, come on now.
to 140 in
Yeah,
November.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the word.
So again, maybe a potential Clarissa Shields fight after, it elevates it. So then it's like, okay, I'm undisputed at 147 and 140. I grab everything at 140. You was, 3-time undisputed. They make that huge fight happen. Who knows, man? But one thing that has to happen, we got to continue to shine a light on women's boxing. Um,
Absolutely.
Definitely, man. Great for having you again.
Thank
Let
you.
them know
Thank
where
you.
they could find you. We're gonna close out of here. Let the people know where they can find you again, champ.
It's Bodywork Boxing on YouTube. It's Mr. underscore Bodywork Boxing on IG, and it's Bodywork Boxing 24/7 on Gmail here at Bodywork Boxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
And the body work is what's most important in the championship rounds. We ain't leave not nothing on the table. We'll probably be back, again with more exciting news and information and notes. Y'all stay tuned. It's a little bit of layoff of fights, nothing really exciting going on this week, but we'll be back with the previews sometime because we do got the Lomachenko fight coming up next week, y'all. So be sure to join us. Body work. I'm out. Championship
All right.
rounds.
Peace.